Hi guys, welcome back. So this video, has no um, planning and no production to speak of, just like all my other videos. I might be getting some equipment eventually so that I can do a little better, but that really shouldn't matter to us, obviously, though it does. But so this is just going to be an amalgamation of just a bunch of my notes that I've written down and done videos about before. And so I'm just going to revisit a bunch of these things quickly all over the place. You know what I'm saying? If you remember my video talking about the stuff that Sergeant Robert Horton was speaking of, then sorry, deal with the smoke detector. It's my apologies. I don't even hear it anymore. I digress. As you've heard me say, all countries are contracts. It's nothing but a state of mind conveyed on paper vessels, right? And those countries or contracts must have an elemental chart, a strategic metals contract, a styles manual for their grammar, and a dictionary. Those four things make up the grammatical construct that we all use as a country. I thought that was something very, vital to revisit. As I've said before, the doctor, the delivery room doctor, is a registered harbor master, registered by the Port Authority, authorized by the Department of Transportation. And you are docked as a vessel by the doctor. A hospital is a foreign vessel in dry dock. It's considered a boat contractually. When you're born, you're a ward of the state, which means you're an outlaw. You have no authorization to even be under crappy bullshit statutes. You're in a maternity ward. Ward, what an interesting word. Warden. Anyway. Because you're a ward of the state, you're subject to the laws of the state, also known as state of affairs of global construct. A state is as I've gone over before, is a non-fact-based, non-tangible contract word. You can't hold a state in your hand, right? Versus a puddle, we can all agree and certify that a puddle is an accumulation of water on a surface. There's the difference there. I've talked about reservation of sovereignty. You don't have to reserve your sovereignty in a contract to have your sovereignty reserved. That's a Supreme Court decision. Because, for example, if you're a citizen, which is a contractual instrument, right? It's not a live being. The right to bear arms is not available to a citizen. First of all, how does a piece of paper pick up a gun? Sometimes you have to get really literal about this language fraud prison. You have to use your brain in ways that you were taught to use in the opposite way. A citizen owes an obligation to the city or the state and has privileges. Wait a second. If someone's giving me privileges, that means they have dominion over me. They own me in some way. Isn't that slavery? But nobody questions it, and I get why. We've all been born into it. I was lucky, I guess, enough to find some of these formations, and I just dove in, and I've been there for almost 7 years. To my subscribers in other countries, especially in the UK, but really in all countries, well, maybe not all countries, read the Constitution of your country. Read your contract. Oh, great, now there's the heater. Furnace. Because even in the UK, you have the Magna Carta. That has not been abrogated by Parliament or anything. It's still withstanding. Well, the Magna Carta is the common law. Common law is not perfect, but it's way better than acquiescing to employees of a municipality that are saying you can't park here, or we're going to take some of your currency, and if you don't take this into your body, we're going to do this to you. Really? Listen, you know what? I'm happy to oblige. As soon as you show me proof of your jurisdiction over me. Do you own me? Do you own any part of me or my property? Then how is it that you think you can tell me what to do with myself and my property? It's just common sense stuff. But even in the UK, you're protected by the Magna Carta. These are some of the United States codes that the municipality, acting like the United States, violates on a daily basis. Title 18, Section 1341, or 18 USC 1341, mail fraud banking, $1 million fine and 30 years in jail, in prison. You think maybe if you not accused them, but asked them, hey, is this paper you sent me in the mail, is it congruent with this United States Code? You didn't accuse them of anything. You're asking for clarification, aren't you? How about Title 18, Section 1001, 10-year prison sentence and a $10,000 fine, fictitious conveyance of language. You enter a contract with somebody and you know that they don't comprehend what the contract really says. That's fictitious conveyance of language. Title 15, Section 1692E, false and misleading statements, $25 million fine, 30 years in prison. Title 18, Section 242, deprivation of rights under the coloring of law. They break these every day. Just every day. Here's an initial salvo that you can write to someone who is making a claim against you, whether it's the police or whoever. Before we can proceed with this matter, as director and beneficiary of my legal person, you have 21 days to respond in writing and provide proof of claim with evidence that you have legal and lawful authority as my public servant to bother me at all. Until then, I cannot consent to proceed. Do you understand? Let's say you said that to a judge. He's not going to go for that, right? Whatever he says, I'm here, you're here for a plea, blah, blah, blah. Excuse me, Judge. I really don't understand or comprehend, nor do I consent to proceed. Isn't there a matter I have brought forth that needs to be addressed? Otherwise, I can't consent to proceed. Can I? Well, now he has to answer. And you know what? Contempt of court isn't just something that pertains to the defendant. The court is separate from the magistrate, judge, you, right? Or, well, it's not really you. A court is the person in suit of the sovereign. A court is any enclosed area with four corners. That's what a court is. And if, as I've said many times before, if somebody sends you, I don't care if everything is done correctly, but on one part of the document, they have some words that are in a box, enclosed in a box. Well, those have to be omitted, according to, I believe, the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure. Well, once you remove something from a document, that document is fraud. It's been modified. You can't have modifications when you're trying to get to the truth. Do you see what I'm talking about? If someone hands you a warrant, that warrant must have a wet ink signature, not a rubber stamp, and an attached affidavit, and attached complaint by a real damaged party. A living being that was damaged. You could ask this: can this particular court hear this type of case on this topic? It's possible that they cannot, because you're bringing law into it. They're just doing offer and acceptance. There's no law happening. Once you bring law into it, they have to step in line with the law. Do any of these attorneys have a real license versus a bar club membership? You can ask the judge or magistrate, I need to see your license to practice law. You don't know that guy or lady. How do I know that you have dominion over me? How do I know you have any jurisdiction over me at all? Once jurisdiction is challenged, it must be proven by the court, by the complainant. If a debt collector is coming after you, you can ask them, are you registered in this state to do business? Do you have a home office in this state? Because if they don't, they have no business even sending you a letter to say, hi, how you doing? If a warrant is missing an affidavit and complaint, it must have both. It is just a piece of paper. It's just a piece of paper. The word vessel, as a definition, also means cargo of words. You know how they all presume us to be vessels? The earth is a vessel floating in the sea of space. Funny how they say sea. And we are all derelict boats floating on the sea of commerce, presumably. If you don't know what you're doing, you are. What is this? 502 McNutt versus GM Acceptance Corporation. This particular person answers, before this matter goes forward, on a special appearance as distinguished or general appearance versus general appearance, I am answering in the form of a demurrer, D-E-M-U-R-R-E-R, which means you're answering out of courtesy, but at no time are you granting jurisdiction. Jurisdiction may never be assumed, but must be substantially proven by the plaintiff or claimant. That's the law. I mean, I hope that helps some of you people. I had a fellow, is it Justin? Wanted me to do another video. Again, if you ask specific questions about specific things that I've mentioned, and I can get, more specific about that. Thanks again for stopping by. Take care.